Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the losers semi-final between our players here, Herr Acker and what is this? Food, please? No, of course, it's just TyrantQ smurfing, pretending that he is his bigger brother, but it is TyrantQ, and it's the second game in the series, and it's of course played on Nomad, because Nomad has to be played in every set of this tournament. Yeah, let's look a little bit at the civilizations and what these players are going for. So first of all, we have TyrantQ here in blue as the Britons. So Ace, Archer, Civilization, and maybe we'll see that from him. Whereas Herr Acker, being in red, is the Mayans, so an Archer civilization. So here I think that Herr Acker is maybe a little bit at a stiff disadvantage, because newer players tend to struggle with the Mesoamerican civilizations because they cannot build knights. And that's something that these players also often realize way too late. But let's see what these players can do. Obviously, in the hands of a competent player, Mayans, very good civilization. They have very strong eagle warriors, so that's something you should watch out for. Now the players, having already put down their docks over here, so TyrantQ having his dock in this corner and Acker in this corner over here. Now I need to quickly check the game sounds, which are way too loud. Okay, I think it should be better now. Alright. So back to the game. So pardon me, all my settings got messed up for some reason, so it was all set up and now it's not anymore. I think maybe it's due to the Definitive Edition getting a big update recently, with new civilizations being introduced, namely the Sicilians and the Burgundians. And I can only tell you so much, we already had a lot of fun with them playing on ranked ladder in team games. Alright, let's see what these players can see. So of course in Nomad the start is always a little bit slower than in other game modes, because you only have 3 villages. You first need to build your town center and then you can go from there. If you look at the scouting, so Herr Acker at least having a good vision around his town center, that's always very good. He has a stone right next to his TC, he has the wood line, some gold over here which he can easily take, so that's very good on him. TyrantQ, on the other hand, if we look at his point of view and go to the Fog of War, we see that he doesn't have as good of a vision around his town center, so he should really scout this area of the map, because it's very crucial to know what's in your direct vicinity. He has, of course, some sheep underneath his town center. He has this rhino over here that he should take at some point, some zebras, and another sheep that he sees, and even another rhino down here. So also plenty of food, especially if you consider the berries that are here. In this case, yellow berries. And for those of you who don't like the yellow berries, there's actually a mod that changes all the berry colors to whatever you like. So they can all be red or all be yellow. Yeah, and if we look at the statistics for a moment, so both players dead even in population, both at 10 villagers. And now Herr Acker placing, I don't know, a peculiar house, because maybe you wanna use that space over here for mining with the villagers. So, but I guess he was in a pickle. He needed to get that house up to get also more population space, because I guess he was heavily housed. Now, in terms of strategy, Herr Acker doing the wise thing is going all on wood to keep pumping out the fishing ships from the dock. Even though he only has 2 so far, now it's 3, so that's very good. And he still has this one villager on shore fish, so that's a very good move by him. He knows how to do it. He also placed the dock in the corner, which is usually the better position, because you have more fish close to your dock location. As you can see here with 3 fish, it could be better, so this corner obviously being a lot better than this one, but still it's a fair position, depending always on your starting position of your villages. TyrantQ already having 4 fishing ships, and he is also going heavily on wood, but he's now also going a little bit into food. And he's already walling a lot, and I think this walling is maybe a little bit too defensive, especially if you consider that he's up against Herr Acker, who's probably not the strongest aggressive player in this tournament. Now the Rhinoceros is coming in, and TyrantQ obviously already has Loom, so it's not a big issue to lure that Rhinoceros. A little bit suboptimal because it's not directly underneath the TC, but it's all well and good. That will not cost him much food here. Still 4 fishing ships for food, please, and 4 fishing ships for Herr Acker. Now it's 5, and actually we have a slight gap in the villager number, with Herr Acker only having 17 and TyrantQ having 19 villagers. So a little bit of a slip there by Herr Acker. Maybe he forgot to build a house, and yeah, some more panic houses being dropped here, although at this moment it's not really necessary, to be honest. And now we can see what scouting does for you. So TyrantQ just dropping these houses without knowing what's here. Because if he knew that this is a wood line, then he would know that this house does not make sense. I mean, you could just wall straight across and then also wall straight across here and maybe here if you really want to go for walls. However, I think, especially in Nomad, it's much better to just go aggressive. However, what you have to consider is access to stone, and you see that Herr Acker has here direct access to stone underneath this town center, so he might be thinking about the tower rush. And we have seen that he is definitely capable of doing tower rushes. And his opponent, his stone is forward. This one is walled off now, so this one is something that he probably won't take. So some tower here could already deny the stone, and then you could creep in, maybe could hit the berries, hit the gold off TyrantQ, and that's something that would be a very good move. Now both players still in the Dark Age, but I suspect that they will be thinking about clicking up soon. So TyrantQ already at 450 food, so I think he will be able to click up in a bit if he doesn't excessively produce more villagers, which of course, as I'm saying this, he queues up more and more villagers. That's why he's called TyrantQ, apparently. So let's talk a little bit about minor improvements. So if you look at this mining camp, this is not placed optimally. You should place it one tile away, so that way your villagers can all fit into these 2 spaces over here and directly drop off, and you can even wall them in if an attack, for instance from scouts, comes in. So this is nice. So if you like don't have berries or like other access to food, it's always good to just drop a mill on some zebra, some hunt, and just collect this food from there. And then he also can get the rhinoceros right here. So why not? So that's a very good move. So that's how you can see how players can adapt to different situations in this game. So one thing that TyrantQ does, which is very good, is that he places outposts so that he knows where his opponent might be, and I think he will find him soon if this villager, he's not running in directly, but he sees a house here, a house here, a house here, so he must assume that his opponent is somewhere in here, and he also sees the dead zebra here, so yeah, so I think that TyrantQ will find out where his opponent is. Now both players finally deciding to go up to the next stage. It's rather close. And in the meantime, Herr Acker actually booming ahead in villager count by 2 more. So probably he has more fishing ships, if I see that correctly, than his opponent. Yes, indeed. So here we have 7 fishing ships for food, please. And here we have 13 fishing ships. Very nicely done. And now we have some Vil fighting over here. Oh no, don't get walled in, Herr Acker, don't get walled in! Oh no, what a disaster. Oh no, you need to notice this. And all of these villagers are idle. Oh my god, because he's probably he's like trying to lame the zebra over here, but TyrantQ is not even thinking about taking that. I hope that Herr Acker drops a tower here behind the wood line, because this is a disaster. There's more villagers to be walled in. Oh, come on, you need to realize this. What are you doing? Where is your micro? Come on, Herr Acker. Jeez, that's a disaster. Now here, 3 more villagers waiting to be walled in. I mean, just click the idle villager button and you're golden. Speaking of golden, I mean, you realize that Herr actually has a lot of food in the bank, but no gold. And that's something that players should improve on by taking gold at the right moment, and then he could have even gone for a fast castle strategy. But now here comes the tower rush, I think. He's not sure where to go. Does he see that his opponent is there? No, he does not know it, but he still drops the tower. Nicely done. And this tower will deny the wood line of TyrantQ, but look at this disaster over here. I mean, 2 villagers down basically. And these 2 villagers are still going strong, and I think, yeah, they're going for the lane, and Acker is not taking any gold here. And now they're walling themselves in. But in the meantime, the tower is up, and I think Acker, if he has the APM, he should garrison in here to hit these villagers harder than this one shot from the tower does. But it's very good. He just instantly and immediately denied the entire wood line of his opponent. So that's very, very nice. And now here is the tower coming up, but the counter tower is already there, and that's perfect. But you should really garrison these villages, and you also need to make sure that you get enough stone. And that's very nicely done. And now you should also chase these villagers away, because otherwise they will just come back. And that's what we've seen in so many games, especially from food plays, where it just comes back. And of course this is TyrantQ, but it's in the genes, I have to say. So what food plays can do, TyrantQ can do as well. And so Acker needs to notice that there is some idle villagers over here. They need to do something. These idle villagers need to do something. They need to drop in another tower, need to creep in, deny the berries over here, do something. But what I like about this playstyle is that he's really, really going for the fish boom. I mean, he has so many fishing ships and an extra dock. However, it's very vulnerable to attacks by fire galleys. But his opponent, so TyrantQ, he's not a water player, you can see, so idling all of his fishing ships, not thinking about a fire galley. So, yeah, and that's what I was saying, these villagers just getting walled in, 3 villagers walled in at the same time. I've never seen that in any game of Age of Empires. I mean, this villager will break free, but so that must mean that Herr Acker noticed this, but he didn't notice this, and he didn't notice this, so I don't know, does he have a very low resolution, does he have 800 by 600 like in the old days, or what's happening there? TyrantQ, in the meantime, preparing some archers, which can be good, however, they need some upgrades, and also if you have some towers there, might be difficult. But again, all these villages here are ripe for the picking, except this one who actually broke free, but it could get walled in again if TyrantQ notices this. Now, these villagers can just attack here and kill this one villager off, I think. And then Acker needs to go more on the offensive. But now the archers are coming in, and I mean, you can already pick these 5 villagers. However, it doesn't really matter, because Acker is ahead by 10 villagers, and I think that's all fishing ships, mostly. Now this villager building a house, so he is realizing, but he doesn't see that his villager over here is just stuck in and locked in there, and now he needs to run away with this villager. The archers, you need to draw them into the tower, make sure that the tower fires on them. Very nicely done. And so a lot of damage is put onto these archers, one even going down, but that's the problem over here. These villagers won't make it in time, I guess. They're trying to desperately batter down the palisade wall. Now he's switching target. What a disaster. I think all of these villagers will just go down, but still it's a decisive villager lead for Herr Acker overall. And for TyrantQ even, or for Herr Acker, the only problem is that a lot of his villagers are actually idle. But in overall, I think it's a very good position that he's in. And this fire galley passing over land. No, don't mind me, just passing. So that's very nicely done. And now Herr Acker, he does have the buildings, he does have the resources, but he does not click up to the next age. What is he waiting for here? I'm not sure. He needs to click up to the castle age. I don't know. Well, he maybe just forgot because he's doing some kind of micro. And now you see this is way too late. I mean, he dropped this tower 5 minutes ago, and now he's dropping a second one, and he already denied the wood line. So I don't think this makes too much sense. You should go around here, place a tower here in this cubby, deny the farmland maybe, because there's also like stone wall here, so not much to do here. Now the archers have gone back, and now if you think about Castle Age and these becoming crossbows, maybe mix in the mangonel, then this becomes super scary. But so far they don't have any upgrades at all, and I hope Herr Acker sees this. Garrison your villages, come on, garrison! Oh, he could have easily picked a couple of archers here. That's very unfortunate, and now he's creeping in with more towers, but it's the wrong angle of attack. I mean, this one just denied a little bit of farmland, so that's good, I guess, but overall it's not much to be had, and you know that your opponent has archers and you need something in to counter that, so you could go for skirms maybe, or even for eagle warriors, but that needs a lot of upgrades. And I think there was some fire galleys in the queue, and we had some fire galley wars, but I think that's now cleared up, and we have a massive fishing eco for Herr Acker and basically no fishing eco for TyrantQ. So overall it's 45 villagers for Herr Acker and 31 for TyrantQ. So if played correctly, this is a perfect situation for Herr Acker. Yes, there are some archers, but they might be wasted here if Herr Acker notices. Yes, very nicely done, and you see how much damage the town center can do in feudal age against these archers who now have their defense upgrade, but they just lack the range, they lack the punch to really do something here. And now TyrantQ also going for Botkin Arrow, going for the leather archer armor, and going also for a lot of upgrades and also skirmishers. So that's a little bit of a curious choice. So he goes for the scale barning armor, because he also goes for scouts. 8 scouts in the queue. That's ridiculous. And here we have the little problem that newer players face with the Mesoamerican civilizations. They don't really know what to go for here. They're really like, okay, I'm Castle Age, so I want to do knights, but yeah, you cannot go knights because, yeah, you're in the wrong civilization again. But what I like for Herr Acker is that he really has the water control. He has some idle fishing ships. You should notice that at some point. And then he really has a solid food economy that cannot really be raided by his opponent, because the opponent does not produce any fire galleys, obviously. But it's gonna be scary for Herr Acker, because there's like skirms, so many skirms in the production queue, 6 scouts in production queue. There's already a huge amount of crossbowmen. Look at this, 11 crossbowmen already out. They have their upgrades. They have the Botkin Arrow is now coming in, so they have +2. And remember, we didn't really talk a lot about the civs except for the Mesoamerican one. Remember that TyrantQ is the Briton, so they actually have an extra range. So they're very scary, these crossbowmen. And I think that Acker now realizes this. He is going for his skirms and also for the elite skirm upgrade, but I think he also needs the blacksmith tax. So you really should get fletching and Botkin Arrow, and especially what's most important for the skirmishers is that they get their armor upgrade. Because right now these crossbowmen deal 7 damage and they have 4 armor, so it's still 3 damage dealt to them, but with the armor upgrades it would only be 1 damage. Alright, so the Mayans unfortunately can no longer go for obsidian arrows, so they won't be very good against buildings, but they can still take down the outpost over here, no problem. Now we have the fire galleys out and finally ousting his opponent from water. And what is this? A castle drop over here? That's ridiculous, but I think it can actually be denied. I mean, if the scouts are out somewhere, I'm not sure where they are. There they are. And if yeah, he actually deletes the house. Oh, that's a disaster move waiting to happen here. And the scouts will just, yeah, I think easily deny this castle. The Sicilians would get this up because they get a +100% build speed increase for castles and town centers, but this is not gonna happen. And I think there was a waste of stone over here, and also all of the archers or all of the skirmishers were killed off here because they are lacking the crucial blacksmith upgrades. And this castle is just denied. It's 65% complete. It will not go up in this game, and that's so unfortunate because Acker was in such a great game, and now it's all falling. Such a great position. Now it's all falling apart. These fishing ships are idle. They need to be retasked. These ones are idle. They also need to be retasked. And now his food economy is basically in shambles. He has no food economy over here to speak of. The fishing ships are not working, and that's a pretty big disaster here for Herr Acker. And now we see this problem with the house that I spoke of in the beginning. It's difficult. This villager will have to walk all around here to drop off the resources. Now these villagers, they're probably going for some food or gold over here. Yeah, and the skirmishers, now it's even downhill. They're not good enough without the upgrades. And now he's also going for spearman. I think at this point it's maybe guard tower is the right call here for Acker. But I'm sure that he's not aware of this upgrade, and now he needs to save this villager. Unfortunately for him, TyrantQ really sacrificing a lot of his army here underneath the town center. I mean, he thinks he can do a lot of damage, and that is true, but he should not lose army so carelessly. Now the scouts finally coming back. This castle is still a pretty high HP, so maybe at some point it will actually get completed. These fishing ships still idle, and that's so unfortunate. And now look at the range. Yeah, these skirmishes outrange the TC. Can you believe it? At the same time, the scouts getting sacrificed underneath the initial TC. But now Acker needs to send his villages back to work. And if you look at the villager count, it has narrowed quite a bit, so it's now 36 to 41, and also 10 of Herr Acker's villages are idle, and I think that's these couple of these fishing ships over here, yes indeed, and probably some other villagers in this town center over here. Where are they going? They're just abandoning the town center when they could now easily shoot this army. Ooh, that's not good. I don't like this move. I mean, it was good to go for additional town centers, get the eco rolling. But yeah, you need something to deal with this army, and yeah, he's clueless. He wanted to go for knights, but it's not possible. That's the big problem. When realistically, he should just go for Eagle Warriors, and then he would be golden, because Eagle Warriors, when they have all the upgrades, they're very strong. But this is going to be a disaster here. One villager going down, two villagers, the third one will go down, the fourth one, fifth, and I think all of them, almost all of them went down. But you see, the tower is actually not a bad defense against this army. Yes, it will take a lot of shots to actually kill these units, but these units can basically do nothing against the towers. I mean, they can try to sit underneath, but if there's other towers and a town center, then it can all be defended. And now I hope this castle goes up, but it could be denied here even. I mean, there's knights coming in, there's crossbows coming in, and there's a desperate defense by Herr Acker. Will it be completed? We're now at 90%, 94, 95, 96, 97. It will go up, I believe, and that will now help Herr Acker massively to hold this position. I mean, the units can try to sit underneath the castle, but it won't work in the long run, and I think a lot of archers will be lost here, and indeed that's what happens. Another one might go down. No, he's TyrantQ being pretty lucky, to be honest, that is not happening. And I think that yes, Herr Acker needs to produce, and he needs to get the economy rolling again, especially the fishing ship. But this pesky scout is, oh god, it's attacking the fishing ships who are like crossing this little land bridge. So I think they should be retasked over here. So very nicely done for Herr Acker. He found these fishing ships over here, but now economy-wise, it's looking disastrous. Look at this, 28 villages to 44 for TyrantQ. I mean, can you believe that Herr Acker had an over 10 villager lead over here, but he was just, yeah, he didn't know what to do. And yes, I don't know, plumed archers, very good archers, but are they the answer against Britons? I mean, Britons have the very strong crossbowmen, and now the knights are coming out. The knights gonna raid. Now, what I don't like from Acker is that he did not kill the dock first, so I think you should always try to kill the dock first. But he killed another building over here, and I'm not sure what this building was, but probably not something too important. And yeah, but Acker is doing the right thing. He's trying to reboom, he's trying to get a hold into this game again. I mean, his castle is helping him a lot, and he already has enough stone for another castle, so he could place a castle maybe directly over here, maybe some quick walls in the front. It's a very narrow wood line over here. Drop a castle, secure this front position, and then he can expand in the back, which he has already done over here, and this will also pressure the farmland, pressure the production buildings of his opponent. So I don't think this game is over yet, even though the scout is super annoying. I'm surprised that a light cap in this case even can do so much damage against fishing ships. But yeah, each day you learn something new about Age of Empires, and also Acker needs to fix his idle villages, and these ones need to do also something. They're very nicely done, so he is thinking about that, but he needs, I feel like he needs some land-based food economy, because his water economy is gonna get raided, and this fishing ship is almost dead. And yeah, so this army of Hoopleys or TyrantQ is idling. But now we have the big problem that the rams are coming in, and that's where the Eagle Warriors would have been so good. Just a few Eagle Warriors would be so great against this ram push over here. But now the combination of rams and heavy cavalry is just too much, and you see the plumes are not doing anything. They're focusing the ram. What are they doing? They should focus the knights and the light cav. And I think the castle will just fall without any problem over here. You also need to garrison the town center, shoot as much arrows as you can, but I think the game is over at this point. I'm not sure if it was a disconnect or a resign, but I think that Herr Acker actually did resign, and that's such a pity. He did not have such a bad position as he thought he had, I think. So yes, he had a couple of villages less, but I don't think it was over quite yet. But I think it's the big problem, like with the Mesoamerican civilizations. If you're a newer player, you just don't know what to do. You want to go for the knights, but they don't exist. You need to switch it up in your head. You need to be aware that Eagle Warriors are a thing. And the advantage of those is that you can already start building the numbers in the feudal age, and then once in castle age you upgrade them to the Eagle Warrior from the Eagle Scout. And they're a very strong unit in this position. They're good against the archers, good against the skirms. They're decent against cavalry, and they would easily take up the rams. But Herr Acker really did not have a clue. And although what I liked from him is that he tried to go for the tower rush, he really denied the entire woodline for this game. So very big win for him in the early game, and that gave him a big lead also in economy. But he didn't follow through. He didn't immediately place the next tower, immediately place the next tower here. He gave his opponent time to wall here with palisades, and then later on with stone walls. And finally, what was a big problem is this walling in of villages here. That should never ever happen. But a pretty good game, I have to say. So for a newcomer such as Herr Acker, he really did very, very well, and I think that he was kind of a little bit boned by his civilization. But overall, TyrantQ takes the victory in this game. So I'm Peter Host, and I hope to see you in the next game.